New Hall of Illusion solo dungeon is rotating this week with the two new bosses, which is Molgras and Murdock. And you guys want to be doing tier 5, so you guys get the best runes, the best rewards, chaos runes, and potentially Nebula accessories. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I did it as a tank SNS GS. So let's jump into it. The tier 5 mechanics is different from the other tiers. Now, unlike the other tiers, this boss will be spawning 2 random placed totems. So you want to make sure you're positioning yourself close to those totems, because after those 2 random totems, he will be spawning them on top of you. Now on tier 5, the boss does this a red circle around you. If you stand on it, you get stunned or rooted. So you want to be using either precision dash or a strategic rush to get out of this. If you're not out of it, you will get CC locked through his whole phase. Now, when he teleports the first time, you can't really position him where he's supposed to stand. So just make sure that you're destroying as many totems as possible at the start, because it's going to be extremely important so you guys can survive later. Now, right after this route, he will either follow up with the block mechanic, or he will do a different mechanic where you just have to jump when he goes up in the air. Now, once his first laser is done, he's going to start on his second laser phase. So he's going to start with the same mechanics. He's going to spawn 2 totems. Again, this time randomized, and you have to make sure that you're standing close to them. Now, after he has placed the last 2 totems, he's going to actually spawn on top of you. So you want to position yourself so you can shoot the straight line through all of the totems here. If you destroy over 3 totems with this line, he will get stunned, and you can do insane amount of damage during this time to get ready for the next phase. Now, since you're a tank or a healer, what you will usually do in this phase as a DPS is you will shoot the laser at one of the big pillars, because that will give you a safe spot. But as a tank, you cannot do that. You have to actually take the hit, and you can survive it. That way you can bring the boss much lower at the start before using the pillars. That will show you guys later. And you can easily survive this if you have the shields, or if you're using a remedy. You can survive the massive hit in the middle, as long as there's not many totems. Now, depending on your DPS, if you still have a lot of HP to go, you can do this 3 more times. But I only do it 2 more times, I think, pretty sure. That way, I make sure that the boss's HP is lower enough so I can actually finish the boss with the rest of the pillars. You don't want to be doing this mechanic when there's a bunch of totems at the end, because you will not be able to survive the damage, even with all your stuff popped. Now, this is going to be a rinse and repeat mechanic until the boss gets to 50% HP. Once the boss gets to 50% HP, he's going to change his mechanics. Now, once the boss hits 50% HP, like I mentioned earlier, he's going to start placing a red colored totem. So he follows the same mechanics. He puts one totem, and he puts the second totem, and then he puts a third totem, and that one you want to put away from the other totems to stay away from it because it does a AoE damage around it, and you don't want to be destroying this one. This is very important to remember. When you're about to destroy the pillar this time, if the boss is too far away from it, even if you're on the correct line to it, it won't actually destroy the pillar. So you kind of have to be close enough for the pillar to be destroyed so you get the safe spot underneath it. So once you have the safe spot, just walk into the safe spot and you are good, and then you will do the exact same thing with the next two pillars. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're too far, like you can see in this example, even though the pillar gets hit, it doesn't actually drop a pool because the boss is too far away. However, I can still survive because I used all of my defensives, including my remedy, to survive this hit, which leaves you with extra pillars. So this is how you can actually survive really good as a tank, so you don't actually have to do all of the pillar mechanics all the time. Aside from that, it's just straight rinse and repeat. Make sure you guys are dodging out of the red bind circle, jumping when he does the red smash, making sure you place the pillars together so you can run the boss through them. Make sure you dodge, stay away from the red balls. Aside from that, it's very straightforward as a tank. You gotta have a little bit patient. Either you can run more DPS or more survivability, so survive more of these pillar smashes. Second boss is way easier. This time you want to take the stamina buff. The first 50% of the boss is pretty straightforward. He doesn't do anything crazy. You're just dodging some simple mechanics back and forth, but it's a good thing to learn the pattern so you guys can prepare for below 50%. First pattern to remember is when he brings his shield up, he's going to attack on the side of where the shield is. Here you can either dodge roll the first attack or you can just walk to the left side and then you will be completely safe. The second pattern to look out for is when he does a slam with his hammer on his right hand. This time you want to do the exact same thing, but you want to dodge to the right side instead. So the opposite of where the shield is gonna, where the shield was smashing earlier. Aside from that, all you have to do is just jump when he does the slam, the blue slam on the floor. Make sure you use dodge away from when he spawns those monsters that are going to charge you, or the golems. And I use precision dash for it to make it much easier. And I go to one of the edges, or I use strategic rush, and I have barbarian dash for extra speed boost. Now, when the boss gets to 50%, he goes kind of in like an enrage mode where he will be start doing a crazy amount of attacks. There's going to be patterns that you guys have to keep an eye on and follow. The first pattern is just his normal attack. On his second normal attack, he will do a cone attack in front of him. So here, you just want to keep moving behind him while you're attacking. Like I showed you guys earlier with the shield block, he will hit the right side. So you want to move to the left side. However, it also has a third attack where you basically just have to move either to the left side or the right side of his attack. Just make sure that you're continuously moving during his attacks and block attacks, because he will be attacking with cones. It is kind of unfortunate because a lot of our skills that do damage are cast skills. We kind of have to keep moving so the DPS will slow down. Same pattern with the hammer slam like I showed you guys earlier, just that it's going to be a third attack, just like the shield attack. This time you move to the right when he brings up the hammer, then he's going to slam his own right side, and it will make it easier for you guys to not take any damage here. Now, if for some reason you get the boss in a corner because he jumps at you, because I went early during that other phase, you can move the boss back to the middle, because now when he's into the corner, it's hard to get behind him during his smashes. So I don't like really this position right here. Now, by some reason, if you mess up some mechanics, you get really low HP and you need more stamina, this boss is very easy to get HP and stamina back. All you have to do is just run away from him, use precision dashes and strategic rushes, get your stamina back up, get your HP back up, and just recover. It's completely fine to do it like this, and it will make the boss fight much easier.